all a game.
Yeah.
Like, I remember I wrote something on my website a while, like years ago, about when Subway got caught using that ingredient that keeps the bread longer.
The stuff that's
yeah.
So essentially the
stuff
bread
that's in
won't
Yoga
rot
Mans.
as quickly, right?
Yeah.
And they got piled on in the media. They had to change it up and now say we don't use that ingredient anymore.
Right.
But like McDonald's, Harvey's, Wendy's, the fucking bread you buy in the grocery store,
It's all still there.
there's a lot of these companies that still have that ingredient, right? So what's happening is we're just sort of stepping out the way when someone gets in trouble. And I kind of relate that to celebrities in general, right? So we're going to publicly excommunicate a man or get a man fired or whatever the case. And it might be the right thing to do, it might be the wrong thing to do. But we do that, and everyone in the industry already knows everyone else that's saying and doing these things.
So
but since it's not out, they're good.
Yeah.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
And there's something about that it kind of, I'm disenfranchised in creating an opinion on anyone that I don't know at that point.
Yeah.
Word.
Right? Because all we need to hear is the news story about, Kevin Hart tomorrow and the freaky shit he's doing or whatever, and then suddenly we hate him. But the whole time Denzel Washington's been doing the same shit at the parties, and you don't know about that one. So it's like we have to pick and choose who we get mad at based on the information that leaks.
Yeah.
Like
Well,
I feel like, you know what I mean? If anything,
Everything
they're
is what
probably
you
all
know.
fucked up.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Everything is what you know.
So it's like, I can't just sit here consistently changing my opinion on the roller coaster ride of opinions on celebrities.
My thing is that
You know what I
you
mean?
need to have your own opinions on what you believe in.
Yeah.
And if whatever the situation is with that person, you draw the line based on your own belief.
That's it.
You even if they did something that's against your beliefs, doesn't mean you have to hate them.
And it's up to you to
Yeah.
for how far you take it. Like with these movements, it's up to you to depend on how you are you that pissed off that you want to get 1 million people that are just as pissed off as you to march down the street towards it. Totally, it's totally on you to.
Yeah.
You go to work. Wake up and continue your life. The man didn't, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I just feel like the worst people in the world aren't impacting, until you are impacting people on a real level, instead of, I don't know, entertaining their children and making them laugh with funny movies or something. I feel like there's a lot of things we need to be focused on right now. You know what I mean?
Word up.
Yeah, no, absolutely, man. Absolutely. We definitely live in an era where scandals kind of run the news. We live in a 24-hour news cycle.
Yeah.
You know what I
We
mean?
were
And
like
the
that
easiest
before.
thing to move news is scandals.
Yeah.
It keeps people engaged. People want to express their opinions. They want to voice their opinions. So, because we're in this consistent, constant era of just being bombarded with news,
Just
bombarded
nonsense,
with videos.
distractions, constant distractions.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know what I mean? It goes back to our conversation last week when we were talking about bread and circuses. You know what I mean? It's the same thing, except now we all pay for our entertainment. It's not provided by the state or whatever it may be. But either way, with that entertainment, we even get bored of ourselves. You know what I mean? We get bored of the entertainment that's entertaining us. So then we look for the most extreme shit, and that's why clickbait exists. That's why all this shit exists. That's why the fucking deep web exists. That's the dark web, whatever they call it. All this shit. All this shit exists out of literally pure boredom of the human being. Depression, all this shit exists. If you're living out on the fucking land we once were, and fucking hunting fish and fucking tipping over cows to eat them, and trying to catch a chicken, and fucking, you know what I mean? You don't have time to sit around and fucking worry about nothing. You're worried about yourself. That's it. You know what I mean? And then the more convenient you make life for human beings, the more they find ways to be fucking retarded.
Well, the problem is instead of less time to do things where your body is getting tired and you got chores and things to do, we have less chores to do, so we have more time to think. But instead of using our time to think constructively, we're actually thinking deconstructively.
Well, a lot of us just aren't thinking is the problem.
Absolutely.
Entertainment.
We're not
You know what I mean?
That's why we jump at the first headline we see.
Absolutely.
And people freak out. And then you realize what was said. Like the Kanye thing.
Yeah.
All he said was, it sounds like. He didn't say it is.
Those are the key words that
and
people
lost
really
their
leave
shit
out of the
because
conversation.
he said this.
Kanye.
That's all they needed.
All right, so
Shitstorm.
what about this headline? Nicki Minaj saying that she's the
Oh,
new
man.
Harriet Tubman.
Did you hear her on Queen Radio defending that?
I'm not even taking that
Oh
seriously.
my God, yo! I'm telling you, you're gonna.
How do you defend that? There's no
Yo,
defense
no, you're
for
gonna
that.
get
What you say to
cheesed.
that?
She's like giving like Queen Awards
So-
on a show, and
so
she's
how many
like
people
second
should-
Queen Award. Go like,
Yeah.
yo, it's like
Queen
just
of
like,
what?
oh man.
But how
yo.
many people did she free?
Right?
She's still got them in a type of mental slavery with what she's doing.
Yeah, it's
So I don't
crazy,
understand her
man.
thing about Harriet Tubman.
Oh,
It's disgraceful.
It's
Oh,
ridiculous.
that's mad disgraceful.
And she did that with
like-
Malcolm X too.
Yeah, but you know what? Rappers have done that. You know what I mean? Like how many rappers have declared themselves Malcolm X, and because maybe it was a male, we might not. Again, same situation when it comes to sex. So I'm starting to think there's maybe a little bit of a discrepancy.
They're
for
reaching,
how
man. That's
we
all they're doing. They're
treat certain
reaching
women.
because certain people on a certain platform.
They are, but what
yeah.
I'm saying is, like when when KRS is at a window with a Uzi
But that's
depicting the picture
different,
of,
man.
That's
of
like a
Malcolm X.
homage,
Because,
though. You know what
that's
I
a
mean?
homage, and plus, when you listen to his album, what is he talking about?
He's talking about it,
Nicki's
yeah.
saying it. Listen to her album.
By
What is
any
she
means
talking
necessary.
about? She's
This-
talking a
the
bunch of
album
idiots.
title itself.
Like some weird ass.
There's
Yeah.
a direction with that.
That's the only problem. So it's
Yeah.
not the person's name. It's what are your actions are reflecting who you're referencing.
Oh,
You
absolutely.
know what I mean? It's not. So
That
whatever.
was, it was dumb. Don't get me twisted.
Yeah.
That was dumb as fuck
I had
for
to
her
think
like,
twice
make
too,
that
but then I
reference.
looked at it. I was like, I'm not gonna pay this no attention.
Yeah. There is no real defense for
Yeah.
that. You know what I mean? To call yourself the new
But
Harriet
then
Tubman.
the whole thing is, we don't need to get offended by it either.
That's true.
All we gotta do is like, okay, she's talking shit.
Just let her
Keep it
talk
moving.
that. Let
Shut
her talk
up.
that
Yeah, 'cause
smack.
she's talking a
and-
lot of shit right now,
a lot of shit.
and it's not helping.
None
her
of
album
you,
sales.
neither you listen to that Queen Radio shit.
Yeah.
No,
Oh
I'm not
man,
trying to listen
yo,
to
it's
Queen
literally
Radio.
like Kanye West on the worst rant of his life,
Yeah.
but going like for a whole fucking radio show, and it's
Get
Nicki
on my
Minaj's
nerves,
voice.
yeah.
Legit, that's what
Yeah.
the whole thing is. It's just like and like her. Oh my man. But at the same time, the sick part is that I didn't turn it off after 5 minutes.
Yeah.
I kept listening.
I might check it out.
Yeah.
I might check it out. I don't know.
Advertisement.
I might check it out. I've been hearing about it, but I'm like,
all he needed to
I
hear.
don't-
Right.
Azalea Banks had her own show too.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
whatever.
No, but let's touch back on what Maloney said. He said he had to check it out or he had to
Yeah.
keep watching. That's the thing. As much as we
Yep.
talk shit about all this stuff
Yeah.
going on in
We're
society,
absorbed.
we still want to see where the train wreck goes. We still want to see the car crash. You know what
Yeah.
I mean?
Yeah,
Like that's
And I
where our
check out a lot of
mentality is
alt-right
at, right?
videos all the time. I don't
Yeah.
need to watch alt-right videos, but I want to see where they're coming from. I want to understand. Okay, this is how you feel. This is what
Know your
and a lot of
enemy.
people say I'm not even racist, and they sit down and have conversations with black people
Yeah.
about certain things. I'm like, okay,
Are you
you're
gonna
not really
retire?
racist, but you would rather.
Are you
this.
gonna
Fine,
be
that's
the
cool.
new guy that
Everyone has their
retires the
preference.
robes?
What's that?
You gonna be that new guy who retires the robes?
Oh no, I'm not gonna go that far.
What's his name, man? He's an R&B singer. What's his name? Because he's out there retiring clan robes, man.
Oh, and
That's,
and
that's some brave ass
And
work.
they do it, and the same guy with the what's the movie called? The Black Klansman. I still want to watch that.
Yeah, I was gonna go see that last Saturday actually.
That's
I wanna see
crazy.
that. That looks.
But we
But
seen
I'm not gonna go
Equalizer
that far.
2
I'm not trying to
instead.
convert people's mindset. If they want to think a certain way, that's on
Yeah.
them.
Yeah, no doubt, no doubt. I definitely want to see
can't-
Black Klansman. You
Yeah.
can't convert somebody, but speaking
You
of
can,
movies,
you can talk to them and have conversations with
yeah,
them.
no doubt.
Well,
That
what
was,
you
like,
can
interesting
do
to
is have conversation,
Yeah.
exactly what the show's about. You can have progressive conversation, talking about things, different opinions and perspectives, and maybe collectively come to an agreement that was better than the last.
Yeah, no doubt.
That's
no
what it's
doubt.
all about, right? At the end of the day.
That's not gonna happen, man. It
Hey,
doesn't happen. Here's the thing: we can influence people. We can have conversations. People can cross the line to your side, to their side. Today, social media, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, era of outrage. At this point, as long as you can find 5,000 other people who agree with you, then you're stuck in your ways.
Yeah.
this is true.
There's not going to be any more transitioning or conversion until we all decide that this social media shit is bad for us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I find that when I go to things that have opposing views, I start to understand where they're coming from. I may not agree, but I say,
I understand
Yeah.
at least what they're trying to get at.
Yeah.
I don't
because
think
it
it's-
comes from somewhere.
Absolutely.
It's not just I'm offended because even the slut walk thing.
Yeah.
What's her name?
Amber Rose.
She says she wants to make misogynist men get angry because they're doing it. And I laughed. I go, that's not going to make us angry whatsoever. I'm not misogynist. But what I'm saying is, man, if you want to change it, misogynist men,
right.
that's not going to happen through doing that. And definitely not, the regular man is not going to be like, oh, you're doing a slut walk. I'm going to change the way I think about sluts. You're not even doing a good representation of sluts, if that's what you're trying to do.
No, I feel you.
It is what it is. Like, men are
Basically-
sluts too.
That being
So
said,
men
what's
are
your-
sluts too.
Oh, absolutely.
Yo,
men are
definitely.
sluts.
They do the
Are you
same
kidding me?
thing.
Here's another
Men
one
are
of
the
those.
biggest sluts.
It will make the misogynist thing even bigger.
Word.
Men are the biggest.
But with
sluts
that
in the
being
world.
said, too, there's another, once again, like one of these things that's all opinion. What makes you a slut? What's the defining line of being a slut?
You know what? That's a good question. I think just like
And is that different for men and women?
I think shit again comes down to the double standards thing. You know what I mean? Like because society will label a woman a slut a lot faster than they label a man a slut. You know what I mean? They'll call a man a stud. They won't call him necessarily a slut, but they'll call a woman a slut just for pretty much for having a man and then maybe breaking up with him and going and seeing somebody else. You know what I'm saying? So it's just a sociological double standard. And again,
That's
I guess it
exactly
just
what
boils
it
down
is.
to the individual person. You know, I'm seeing recording. I'm recording as well. It's kind of weird. You know
But
I
what
mean?
do you consider like now with that being said, because we're all looking at it with this very understanding knowledge, but like, so what's your limit? Like, do you have, like if you meet a girl and you like her and then you find out she was like an escort, were you still dating her? Still dating her?
Get tested, man.
Think about that shit.
Because it's easy to have these ideologies, but I think all of us, even though we have these these super positive ideologies and very equal PC thoughts and ways, we all have a borderline where we cross something, right? It's like the age thing we're talking about. We all kind of have see a little differently, but it's all in the same range. Well, what makes you a slut and what doesn't? And let's just say men and women are both sluts for the equal amount of kills, all right? Now, what makes you a slut and what doesn't? You know what I mean? Like, can we even define that border?
I remember that one girl in that video. She's a virgin. She said she's a slut. But then she said all women are sluts. And then she said her mother is not a slut. So if your mother's not a slut and you're a virgin and all women are sluts, what doesn't make your mother a slut? You didn't think about that one. And I see people praising her and saying all types of
Holy
shit.
shit.
And she's
double logic.
and I'm like, that doesn't make any damn sense.
You guys need to stop trying
Nothing
to
makes any
rationalize.
fucking
I
damn
know.
sense
And
I'm
that's
just
anymore.
saying what
you
you're
can't-
saying.
There is no.
There's no definitions. There's no
There's
equation.
nothing. It's
No,
an individual thing.
it's
Yeah.
all fucking.
Perception or whatever you want to call
All
it.
it really is just distraction.
Yeah.
That's all it is. No one thinks about anything that matters if you're too busy fighting over something that doesn't.
Yeah.
That's why Jay-Z, you know what I mean? A wise man told me don't argue with fools, people from a distance. You know the line. And that's exactly it. It's like you get people to argue over the dumbest shit.
Yeah.
And then people never come to any agreement to talk about anything that fucking matters.
Yeah.
Because
But
they're
what
too
actually
busy arguing
matters,
over
everyone,
something.
everyone has a variance of what matters to them,
That's true.
right? So
Yeah, but what matters to you doesn't mean it matters.
exactly,
Exactly.
Anybody,
People
yeah.
need to realize that, like,
Yeah.
just because you now have a voice, because of your fucking Facebook or whatever, doesn't mean you matter.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean that your opinion is now equal.
Yeah.
Like to be perfectly honest,
Yeah.
Yeah.
people have a subjective view on life. We all do.
Yeah.
Yep.
We all have a subjectivity to us, but there's still an objective truth.
Yeah.
Right? And just because you think something just because you're hung up on something,
Right.
a word,
Yeah.
right? Or an action or a movement or a hashtag doesn't mean anything you're doing matters.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So we need to get out of this grandiose self-entitlement nonsense, which again comes from everyone having an account, right?
Yeah.
It's like podcasts,
Yeah.
right? Like I was just talking to my wife because we started a podcast a while back and we were thinking about starting it back up again, and I was like, everyone has a podcast,
Yeah, and it's
right?
gonna
Yeah.
continue like that.
So now
Yeah.
it's like, do we jump back in? Right? It's why I don't rap.